Happy New Year. You're welcome to yet another edition of House Connect, which gives you an idea of how legislative action in 2023 will affect policy priorities and plans of governments in 2024. The Finance Bill of the 2024 financial year, which stands at 6,704.1 billion CFA francs, has been promulgated into law. It naturally took effect from the 1st of January. How did the lawmakers of the Senate and the National Assembly view the budgetary outline is our focus on House Connect today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Our program today zooms in on some legal instruments endorsed in Parliament which will change the course of relations between Cameroon and its brotherly nations. A couple of security and military accords signed between Cameroon and Russia, but also visa exemption requirements for holders of diplomatic and service passports between Cameroon and Egypt will be applied. The ratification of the establishment protocol of the statutes of the African Monetary Fund is also operative.
The reciprocal exemption from visa requirements for holders of diplomatic and service passports agreed by the Republic of Cameroon and the Russian Federation in July 2023 is now effective. The entente discussed in Parliament and authorized by the President of the Republic provides for nationals of either of the states to enter, stay in, transit through, and leave the territory of the other without visa requirements for a maximum period of 90 days. This also applies to the May 2023 accord with the Arab Republic of Egypt.
The two agreements are aiming at three major objectives. One, to bring the officials of the two countries to see how the institutions of the two countries can work together in various domains. Secondly, to open way to our nationals who want to make business. And third, to facilitate the exchange between the students.
Ratifying the establishment protocol and statutes of the African Monetary Fund geared towards fostering sustainable shared economic empowerment and balanced development on the continent is an act in the right direction.
It's an initiative of the head of state of African Union, and but now to enter into force, it means that each African state has to ratify the bill.
The adherence depicts the country's zeal to align with Africa's 2063 agenda, the blueprint for inclusive growth.
Our focus on today's edition of House Connect is the 2024 state budget of 6,704.1 billion CFA francs. True to our promise a fortnight ago, we will be unveiling the fine points of the exchanges between the legislative and the executive. The perception of the lawmakers on the realistic nature of the budget and the terms of its implementation feature prominently in this segment. The Finance Law of the Republic of Cameroon for the 2024 financial year, promulgated into law by the head of state, His Excellency Paul Biya, on December 19 last year, is balanced in revenue and expenditure at 6,740.1 billion CFA francs, increased by 13.2 billion from the 2023 state budget. It presents a projected growth rate of 4.5% in 2024, which is applauded by the lawmakers. The public investment budget of the year stands at 1,652 billion CFA francs, indicating a strong political vision to boost economic growth.
Increase is realistic. More could have been put towards infrastructural development, put towards the investment budget. The country has to run, government has to run. So yes, we want to invest, but we also have to maintain, the infrastructure of what's there. But in a whole, it's been balanced. It's a well thought out budget.
The special appropriation account has experienced a decrease by 23.8 billion, much to the worry of the people's representatives.
When I see a drop of 23.8 billion in the account, the people of the Northwest, Southwest, and Far North are of great concern. Is it that some of the projects have been realized, or is it that our partners who promised us from the beginning decided to fail us?
The presidential plan for the reconstruction of the Northwest, Southwest, and Far North regions, affected by socio-political crisis and incursions, is a tacit proof that issues ought to be addressed.
The presidential plan for the reconstruction and development of the Northwest and Southwest regions, as well as the special plan for the reconstruction of the Far North region, do not substitute public investment layouts year in, year out in the state budget. Inasmuch as there are special allocations to catch up with the investment gap, all the ministries are still obliged and constrained to give the same consideration that they give to the 7 other regions, to the Northwest and the Southwest regions.
A whopping 569.1 billion CFA francs allocated to the Ministry of Public Works is expected to look into the eye-soaring issue of road infrastructure in the country.
Looking at it, we can see that they've really put in a lot of effort to come out with a budget that reflects realities and that is sustainable and that really looks at the situation of the country. Infrastructure, particularly roads, because to me, roads are at the center of development and eliminating poverty. If we could have more roads opened up to disenclave many more areas across the country, more tarred roads.
Housing and urban development efforts will witness a significant swing with an over 30 billion CFA francs increase from 2023's 113 billion budget. But for the legislators, this will be futile if a national urban and peri-urban sanitation strategy is not adopted.
Yaoundé is rotten. I buy from the central market. Before I enter the central market, I don't know whether any minister has used that road to get into the main market. I mean the sewage, stinking, with 1,000 local mayors, city mayor, regional council, the minister of urban affairs. Can we not drop down all these things and use the little money to get the state only on sanitation of our towns?
Conscious of the need to find sustainable solutions to scale up sanitation coverage, government is reassuring and clarifies on the role of community actors.
The urbanization is increasing. And you were talking about toilet in the market. And I will also say that these markets are old and small because the population of Yaoundé yesterday was 1 million. But they are talking today about 4.5 million. The construction and the management of the market is a duty of city mayors. But we are there to support them. Actually, the Prime Minister asked us to decentralize the management of garbage because even in Yaoundé is the city mayor. But we have to go near the population and make sure that the garbage, the collection, the treatment, and even the transformation into resources.
The devolvement of resources to local collectivities, where some 100 billion CFA francs has been apportioned in 2024 for the effective implementation, is a worthwhile initiative to speed up the decentralization process.
This particular bill has gone further to reinforce the devolution not only of powers but of resources to the regional councils. We noted a very great increase in the amount of money that will be sent to the regions and councils, and I think that is satisfactory to us, the lawmakers.
The pockets of resistance in the Northwest and Southwest regions, with sporadic dissident moves deplored by the lawmakers, are yet to deter the state from its mission.
Nothing is more important to the head of state than bringing an end to this crisis which for all intents and purposes is truly uncalled for. In every negotiation, the little diplomacy I know, there are three prerequisites for you to be able to engage in any meaningful discussions. You have to have, first of all, the willingness of the parties, followed by their ability, thirdly, by their capacity. The ability is having knowledge of the facts which they are negotiating upon, and their capacity is that to deliver on their promises.
A significant measure is the streamlining of the recurrent expenditure in all government services and subsidies to public establishments in 2024. The overall policy objective of the 2024 state budget is to commission major first-generation projects and implements the public finance reform plan that will revitalize the economy and strengthen inclusive growth in Cameroon. Our guest on House Connect today is Honorable Simon Kumase. He is the CPDM member of the National Assembly for Mezam South constituency in the Northwest region. Hello, Honorable. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
It's our pleasure to have you on this program, House Connect, to talk about your work in Parliament and also about your work at the level of your constituency. So tell us, how has it been for the last 3 years ever since you stepped foot in Parliament?
Thank you so much for inviting me this day to talk with you. I'm so grateful, I'm so happy, I'm so thankful to God. The situation in Northwest and Southwest has not been very easy, but like we said, there is nothing that we cannot do. Amidst difficulties, there is always a way forward. And that is why for the 3 years, we have been on the ground to make sure that we fulfill the promises we gave them during election.
Let's begin with your work in Parliament. You are a member of the Defense and Security Commission. Lots of work has been done in your committee. Could you tell us some of the issues that you have been addressing in your committee?
The Commission for Defense and Security is quite sensitive. And definitely all these years, I have gotten the opportunity to represent the National Assembly in 3 countries in Africa on issues of defense and security. I've been to Ghana, sent by the National Assembly. I've been to Kinshasa, sent by the National Assembly. I've been to Burkina Faso. We had the opportunity to present our situation in Cameroon because most of them did not understand. So we need to brief them on how the head of state, the decision taken to bring down, to calm down the security challenges in Cameroon, like the DDR centers, the various committees set up to talk and to plead with the children to understand that tomorrow is not today. We still have tomorrow and we can do so many things out of it. For them, they thought that we are at war. I told them we are not at war. There's no war declared. No country will declare war against their citizens.
In the just ended legislative year, your committee had couples of exchanges with members of the Ministry of Defense to talk about the proliferation of small weapons and light arms. Tell us about it.
We have to get into the control of all these things and to educate people. We cannot permit it to exist in individual hands, which now the individual use it carelessly, and this is where the problem begins. So we decided in the Commission of Defense and Security with the Minister of Defense to say this is bad.
The government has done quite a lot to address the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest regions. First of all, the convening of the major national dialogue and the far-reaching resolutions. You come from a region that is one of those badly affected by the socio-political crisis. What are some of the recommendations that you're making to end this crisis and for things to return to normalcy?
When you talk of the major national dialogue, I'm happy you use that word. Dialogue resolves so many things, and that is what, up to this present moment, the head of state stood on dialogue. First, there's a misunderstanding on the concept of the history of Cameroon, which has been people intoxicate children who have not gone to school, who have not reached a certain level, and they believe they have a right to certain things. Regions now, like Northwest region, the power has been handed to them through the regional assembly to at least take care and handle the situation on the spot. education is a very important thing. And we keep educating, and that is why you see the result. Children have understood that they were deceived. They were either manipulated, and they could not understand this thing if education was not there. So they had to believe in dialogue and in education. They need to be educated to understand that what they are looking for, it does not exist.
The lawmakers that you are took part in the debates that led to the adoption of the state budget for 2024. They talked about giving special attention to the crisis-ridden regions that have had their budgets not fully implemented because of the crisis. What is your take on that?
Let me tell you, the budget for from when I entered Parliament has taken a great concern for the Northwest and the Southwest. But when we adopt the budget, much has been done up there. But unfortunately, the credit card that goes up there are not implemented because sometimes they take off arms against the very development we have debated in the budget and sent up there for execution. You know how many schools have been banned. Honestly, the parliamentarians are supposed to get back to the field to control government action. In Norway, if you look at the town itself, what the city mayor, the mayors, and the regional assembly they are doing, I can tell you that there is great credit to be given to them because most of the time, the schools we visited some area, the hospitals and all those things, so much has changed, so much has been invested. That is why even last week I was right in our wing.
And that brings us to the issue of your parliamentary input at the level of your constituency, which is Mezam South. What are some of the things that you have been able to do? Have you been focusing on human capital development?
Yeah, thank you, Awan. I'm very happy that you came to that point. 3 years, I've done so much. One, my greatest achievement is with the Minister of Public Works. When I discovered that the villages in my constituency, most of the villages don't have roads. I was bent to see the minister. For example, the tar road to Awing, just recently launched. Tar road, 26 kilometers, has been approved and budgeted. The one of Baligam, approved, budgeted. The one of Penying, approved, budgeted. Coming back to the youth now, I promised them self-employment. We cannot all be looking at the public service. And what have we done so far? We have made it possible for the youth to be self-employed through poultry farming and pig farming. This has been done. I want to sincerely thank the Minister of Fishery and Industry because at one moment he gave us more than 10,000 chickens, which went up there. At one moment he gave 5. So far he has given 25,000 chickens to Santa Special Constituency and more than 8,000 pigs. And so the children now are doing a lot of poultry farming, pig farming, and I think that is one of the greatest things that has reduced the terrorists in Norway because most of them have joined how to do that. Out of that, water is a necessity. The Minister of Economy, he gave us 10 borehole waters which were distributed to the villages. We don't just come to the National Assembly to talk. We talk and the ministers listen and they have done a great thing.
And what will be your next action? Another legislative year has just begun. You're now on recess. You'll be spending the next 2 months with your constituents. What plans do you have for the Mezam South constituency?
Just today, we have received a project because I have to contact the Minister of Water Energy to tell him that there's a lot of problem as concerned electricity. So we should go solar energy. And so he has authorized me to bring up that project before the end of this January so that 4 villages in Santa can be electrified through solar energy. At least when we have street lights, solar street light, then it will be good for us to live and live a happy life.
We're wishing you more grace to your elbows and hoping that the dreams that you have for your constituency will become true. But before we leave, what will be your message to Cameroonians who are listening to you and watching you?
Patience pays. We should not think that everything can be done overnight. What we have, we maintain it. What we don't have, we should hope to have it because it comes with time. Because if you look at the budget of this country, it cannot satisfy the country completely. I hear some people complain about road. Yes, there was once a road and now they are bad. There will be a road again because at least the government knows that those roads are not there. If you look at towards the airport in Douala, if you see the work that is going on there, in Bamenda, the road heading now from Matazen to Bamenda, a great job is being done there. You go to so many places, we have it. So what I want to tell the Cameroonian people, if it is not at your door today, expect that it will be there tomorrow. Let's be patient and things will go well with us.
And it is on that note of optimism that we're going to wrap up this interview with you, Honorable Simon Kumase. It was our pleasure to have you on House Connect in spite of your very busy schedule at the start of a new year.
Thank you so much.
Happy New Year to you.
Yes, Happy New Year.
It was our guest, Honorable Simon Kumase, CPDA member of the National Assembly of Mezam South constituency in the Northwest region. Thank you. Legislators have been communing with their constituents to encourage them to get enrolled in electoral registers ahead of upcoming polls. Others have simply been actively engaged in human capital development through training in new information and communication technologies, while others have simply eased the burden of their communities in celebrating end-of-year festivities. This is how they went about it.
Having the electorate interested in getting their names inscribed on the electoral registers is a point of interest for the Vice President of the Senate, Robert Nkili. With a potential of having over 50,000 persons enrolled in the Nyo and Fumu area, the intention is lofty.
I'm here to help our militants to prepare general elections for 2025. If we have 50,000 electors, that's for our natural candidate. That means President Paul Biya for the presidential election. So we will try to continue for the inscription of our militants in the official list.
The drive to get more and more persons acquainted to information and communication technologies is intensifying in the Yaoundé 5 Rural Council area. Honorable Georgette Minana is actively involved in the training of rural women with the collaboration of the African Institute for Computer Sciences.
The work of Honorable Menana is very important. He is worthy of admiration for that work for women. I think that it's very important to encourage that action. ICT training is very good, very important for our economy.
In a show of kindness for the 14th time, the president of the Banjun community in Yaoundé, Honorable Abed Quinche, gifted over 2,000 women with cooking items and toiletries worth 8 million CFA francs to celebrate the Feast of Nativity.
It's not the first time. The main reason is to be with our mother and also to assist our mothers to prepare Christmas and New Year. We give them something to prepare for the children.
In their native Womela, they blessed the Lord and sang for good fortunes in the season of Thanksgiving and happy ending, hoping that 2024 comes with glad tidings.
That's where we draw the curtains on this edition of House Connect, your insights into parliamentary activities. Amongst other issues that will be treated in our next rendezvous will be the economic, financial, social and cultural program of the state in 2024, as well as some of the priority programs in production ministries. While waiting for that, on behalf of the entire production team of House Connect, goodbye and see you in 2 weeks, God willing.